Welcome to our chat, beautiful beings. We hope you're drinking water and taking care of yourself. Please enjoy the video and learn more about our tribe. Love. All right, beautiful beings. So if you're sitting down, I'm going to invite you to just take a few clean breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Allowing yourself to just be here and now. You're not inviting your body to do anything, but just to be present. Just to be here. Inhaling and exhaling. As you inhale and exhale, I invite you to bring your full body into this moment. So if you're sitting, having your feet pressed down into the earth, engage your ankles, your legs, and your knees. Invite your body to be here, but from a place, a sense of purpose, not just here, but to be and to help your body work in ways that is comfortable and non-harming. Can you invite your pelvis to tuck under or out or whatever feels comfortable? Inviting your spine and your core to be engaged, taking your shoulders away from your ears, rolling them away towards your back body as if there's a book on your head and or a string on the top of your head pulling you towards the heavens. Can all of you be here and now? Can you allow yourself to smell the smell, taste the taste, hear, and to just be present? I invite you to think about what you are grateful for in this present moment. What can you say just you have so much gratitude for? It could be a cup of coffee, a conversation, a ride, whatever. But what are you grateful for? And can you give that gratitude a color? So for every inhale and exhale that comes in and out of your body, you see this color. I'm going to invite us to take 3 clearing and communal deep breaths together. I like to do these breaths because they allow us to be reminded that we are not alone, although we are in separate places. And before we give these breaths, I just always like to give gratitude for all that is and was and that had to happen for us to be here in this moment. And the north and east, the west and the south, fire, water, air, and rain, sun, moon, stars, and planet, and this earth that we all live on. Give gratitude for this earth and all of our ancestors that did not know trauma, but they allow us to know that we can go all the way back to a place where we didn't know what trauma was and or is. And like to give thanks for our ancestors that did know trauma, for they teach us how to be resilient and to forgive. They teach us how to make amends and how to identify, acknowledge, and transcend our trauma, because we can, and grateful for that knowing. And I'm also so grateful for the breath, because we're all breathing the same air on the same time, the same planet. Without our breath and the air, we would not be this connected and knowing that we are not alone. So with this gratitude, I'm invited to take 3 breaths together. Inhaling in through the nose and out through the mouth. And on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more time, inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I invite you to just come back into the space and breathing and knowing with your gratitude. and being in your body and knowing that you can always come back to these breaths. Now we have the ability to allow ourselves to breathe and to be, because that's a thing. I would like, if it's okay, to tell you what I would like to do here and then do it. Does that feel right? Beautiful. So I would like to do check-ins first, and then I'm probably going to pause it. I'm going to pause the recording for the check-in so that we can just check in. And then from the check-in, we'll talk about this space. So what is Mighty Networks? What is this platform? What you all can expect from it. And then do some things, some practices as a part of it. So it's like tell and do. And then from there, we'll be done and it'll be our time. How does that sound? That work? Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to check in. I'm going to pause. And I would like the check-in to be, for those of you who are watching, the recap. How are you? How are you? So what is your name? What do you like us to call you? So you can put that in the chat for those of you who are watching and are replaying this. And what are you willing into existence? So what are you calling your willpower in to make happen? And then ending on what are you grateful for? So what do you like to be called? What are you willing into existence? What are you working with? Actually, your solar plexus, because today's solar plexus day, and our solar plexus chakra is responsible for our willpower, for our ability to will into existence what we've been thinking about or dreaming about. That energy, the willing energy, is in our solar chakras, which is right in the middle of our stomach. So Tuesdays are the days for solar chakra days, and inviting that energy in of what are you going to will in today, and then ending on what you're grateful for. And then that will be how we will check in today. And mostly every time we do an experience through Mighty Networks, for love and healing work specifically, we'll check in and talk about the chakra of the day and how that relates to how we move. So thanks. Thanks so much for sharing and checking in. It was great. I learned a lot. I learned something new from you, and that was cool. Which is why I love checking in. So, what is this? Why are we here? And what am I hoping to get from Maya Networks and Loving Healing Work and Maya Networks? So, there's different platforms. Why Mighty Networks did we choose this platform? Why social media sucks. We're trying to get off of social media because you deal with the algorithms, right? And so you really can't get people to get the content that you really want them to have on social media. So my network created space is a space for people who want to follow not just the work of me, myself, but others like me. Having a one-stop shop for us to be able to apply content that takes people on their loving healing journey was important. Because loving healing work is an organization and a business. We have like a paid platform, different platforms for different people on their journey with loving healing work. Every experience with loving healing work is something to connect, reflect, and practice and repeat, right? So we want to connect with you. We want you to connect with yourself. We want you to connect with others. Learn a new practice, learn something you didn't know about yourself, learn something that you know about others, and then practice this practice. So practice with while we're engaging with each other and do it again. And so the learning part, what makes this platform really cool is that you won't just learn from myself, but there'll be other guides that offer different experiences depending on what package you decide to subscribe to. So the free subscription, there's always going to be a monthly virtual love and healing connection. So we started doing them in person. They're beautiful experiences where people get access to sound bathing and some drumming work, and you're able to move and call in and connect, but do that virtually now that we're doing it in person. And that will be monthly and without cost on our free leverage Love and Healing Work network. But the one that is a subscription, there will be a different kind of experience. So it'll be that one plus another loving healing connection that will involve me guiding individuals through experiences, and there'll be collective experiences. So each platform is tailored to a specific group. The hope is that everyone subscribes to just a general love and healing work platform. Our experiences range from vlogs, which is just video logs, because I write, but I may not provide blogs. There may be other authors and authors that we utilize that aligns with our work that you'll have access to. We'll also do a lot around teaching nature things on the paid subscription part. So, for example, dealing with the moon. So this experience was designed specifically to happen around the new moon, and the new moon was on Saturday. So we do things at Loving Healing Work around the moon, and what the planets are doing and what the seasons are doing, and inviting more people to do that in their professional lives too. So noticing that instead of planning an event, let's say at the end of a moon cycle where everyone's energy is low, you plan an event between the new moon and the full moon. And this way, you're going with what the earth is already doing. The earth has a lot of energy during this time. Humans have a lot of energy during this time. And if you want to start something new with your business or with your healing or your love journey, the best time to want to do that is during the new moon. Reflecting on what you want to start, you want to do that after the full moon, because that's going into the new moon. So having conversations and things like this, and what does it look like for real and not just in theory, is what our sessions would be like. So we would spend time talking about how do you work more with the earth in your daily life? How do you use breath work in your sessions? How can you do certain things that you do with yourself outside of yourself? So yes, we always talk about interpersonal work at Love and Healing Work. It starts with you, but we have also experiences that help talk about doing this work outside of yourself. What does that look like? And this space was created to connect people who have already done work with me or others that are guiding space to be able to connect on your own journey, because everyone's on their own journey, but also have the same language and the same tools and the same ability because you've experienced me or others in some way. So you can't build a tribe if people are in the same space to do so. So the goal is to have a loving, healing tribe, right? And so this is the virtual version of that. There's a platform for consultants, healers, and spiritual guides. That platform will be really tailored around holding space for people who hold space for others in the capacity of a consultant, in the capacity of a spiritual guide. And so that platform, the experiences will be guided by myself, and will range from working on how to be in consensual relationship with yourself and your clients in a way that doesn't cause harm. And what does that look like? And even working through trauma. So working through vicarious trauma as consultants, as people who hold space for other people. Usually we endure and or listen to their trauma, and that is also traumatic. So where's their space to unpack and unravel? You have one now, and you don't have to worry about being on social media or that information being shared outside of that group, right? Because you have to be in the network to be able to share what was shared in the network. So it provides us a space of being seen and feeling protected in ways that you couldn't be your authentic self as a consultant and as a healer and as someone who holds space. So there's that platform. And then there's the How to Leverage White Privilege, which is for people who identify as white body beings who are actively working to utilize their white privilege to eradicate the discrepancies that's been caused by systems. And that space is a space for people who've taken how to leverage white privilege. There has been at least 3 cohorts that have taken it. And so creating a space for people that identify as white and or white passing who are doing the work and want to be able to check in and learn and talk to other people, because it's hard. It's hard. It can be lonely. And so that space is that space. And this online space also is a space where our courses will be rolled out. So the goal is to not be the only trainer. So to have a trainer so that other people can teach others how to be in consensual relationship with themselves and how to be culturally mindful and how to leverage one's white privilege. Is the goal is to be able to have other people train and do this work. So Mighty Networks is also the space where all of our courses are. And it's an opportunity for learning and connection, really, and healing. Wanting to have a space where we can have conversations from the laws that are in place and that policies that people can actively seek to learn more about and lobby for, to herbs that one can take to help soothe one before sleeping. Because that's the range of the knowledge and information that's in this space, and wanting to be able to have a one-stop shop for that space. So that's what this is. Every connection is a connection to connect with self and others, and how to do that with the planet, because the planet, we are stewards of the planet. We are here to be with it, not to control it and to destroy it, but to work in tandem. So the hope is that whatever we are doing to benefit ourselves, we're also doing it to benefit others, and we're also doing it to benefit the planet. And so that's what this space is. The goal is for the people in the space to help share the space, because you all make the space a space too. So you can utilize it like any other social media platform, posting, putting articles and things that aligned with what we're doing in this space. But the goal is to be able to have a space where the content is love and healing. And the content is about your loving healing journey and the lessons that we've learned on this journey, and sharing it, because a lot of times we don't know what we don't know, and we learn from what other people know. So having a space where you can authentically share and not feel like you are doing so from the space of an artificial construct, but just from somebody that is your lived experience. And so you're sharing your lived experience as I share mine. So the networks is that platform, to ask the questions of who am I and to answer them, and to talk about the vacation you want to take, and what are you manifesting with this full moon? What are you releasing? Space to do it all, to be it all. We live in a world that makes us choose to be the person that connects with nature, the person that geeks out over policy, the person that geeks out with people they love. We're forced to be oars. And this space is where you get to be your and. You get to be the and version. You get to be the person that is interested in dismantling all of these constructs and that likes to grow things, and turn your phone off and have no idea what's happening in the world. All can exist, and because all do. And this is a space for that. And so having different experiences monthly that are specifically around the new moon, that will help us bring in what we're going to do as a collective and as individuals, will happen within. So we'll always have experience within the week of the new moon. And we'll also do experiences and just regular love and healing work network around season changes. So we'll have something around the fall equinox, and we'll do something around the winter solstice. So every time that there's a shift, we'll come together and we'll honor that shift as a collective, and then figure out how do we take that shift and bring it into our personal lives, because we're all many earths, right? Like we're all made of air and land and water and fire. We all need all of these things to live and to survive. So why not work with those things in all that we do? Instead of leaving it to the side, we can align ourselves with it and work, so that we're not going against the grain, but we're going with the grain. So we're working with we're working with the seasons, and we're working with the planets, and then we're working with that energy with ourselves, and then we're doing it as collective. And so that's the goal of the space, is that this, just to be able to have that space to ask yourself, and it to be for you. This is your space. This is a space where you get to be you, and that's it. And be you from the love and healing version. And that's why we're here. And that's what loving healing work is. Do you have any questions or comments or thoughts? What do you think about it?
Well, I absolutely love this idea. I love that you're creating this space for this community, and I'm excited to be involved. It's amazing. A lot of the other communities that I am involved in that have kind of a magic-y aspect to it, where we're focusing on like you said, what the planet's doing, what the moon's doing, what's going on in the sky at this time, and the seasons and those kinds of things. They're led by white men, and they have kind of a hermetic sort of background to them. And so having an opportunity to be in this work with the focus of love and healing work and dismantling institutionalized racism, and really putting very clear intention on making our world a better place, and not just trying to, put our will behind what it is we're trying to create and manifest for ourselves, but what we can do together and create together in the world, and improving our world and shifting the culture. I feel like that is so important. And I feel like the culture that you are creating here in this space is such a beautiful and important part of that. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I Emergent Strategies by Adrienne Marie Brown taught me about even looking to nature to do work. Like, how do you get humans to do a thing? And it's like they teach you about adult learning, right? They teach you all these things, but they don't teach us how to work with the energies of the planet. But they're doing it. I mean, if we think about, like, for example, Fridays, sacral chakra days, but Fridays are also the days that they tailor to be date night, right? Why would date night, what other night would date night be? It's going to be sacral chakra or the heart chakra, but not the heart, because that's just too much. But sacral, yes, because that deals with, your sexual organs, your reproductive organs, your emotions, that part of ourselves. So of course, why not make Friday? We're gonna have a day, on Friday, we're gonna have a date night day, and it's gonna be on the day that our energy is already there. We're already being invited to move from that space, right? So there's so many things that the people and systems and have used against us to control us, that we don't utilize them to liberate ourselves. So it's like we can use the newness of the earth to plant new seeds in our consciousness to be conditioned differently. We can use the energy of the full moon that is moving the waters on the earth, that is impacting all of the water on the earth. We can use that same energy to impact and move the water that's in our bodies, to do whatever it is that we need to align. This is, people call it science, but yet it's science and nature. Like, science proves that what I'm saying is true. Farmers don't plant seeds after the full moon, between the full moon and the new moon. They do it between the new moon and the full moon. It's on purpose. It's because of what the earth is doing. So again, it's being able to have space to talk about it. Like, okay, you're gonna try to bring diversity, equity, inclusion into your organization. Great. You should wait till the next new moon. And you should not try to do new things in the fall or the winter, because that's when things are dying. So if you're doing things, it should be to get rid of. It's like we're gonna stop doing a thing. But there's not space for people to have these kinds of conversations, and to have these conversations and then to do this, it allows people to do things easier. It's easier to get humans to do a thing if you're asking them to do a thing in a way that their energy is already inviting them to do. I'm staying in alignment. We're in a new moon in Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign. Earth signs are very much so like be here now, planted, rooted, like have a plan. It's the earth. They're stable signs. Of course, this new moon, people are thinking about stability in different ways. Okay, well, what if people leaned into it and had space to be like, okay, so what are you willing into stability right now? Right? Will being the solar plex day, that's today. The new moon being in Virgo, which is an earth sign, which is about like, that stability and the truth and the version of the signs. Why not intentionally be willing something that keeps you stable and knowing? Makes sense on today. And then taking that knowing and going into saying, all right, so then we're going to do that for a DI. And a lot of people don't have to know that's what you're doing. That's I think what makes it great too, is because I plan events. I think about all of those things, and my attendees don't know that I've done that way. I started this thing at this time on purpose. And the reception of it, so the fact that people receive it so well, and everybody's like, oh my goodness, you're just so, and I'm like, yeah, it's by design, literally. I don't try to do things. I'm not trying to do things during a retrograde. Mercury retrograde, you can have it. I'm not trying to do nothing. If it's not already on the calendar, don't add it. But again, I didn't know that the retrograde impacted what it did until I started realizing it. And so when technology goes crazy or stops working or does the thing, I'm like, what is happening to the planets? Oh, we're in a retrograde. This space is space for people to talk about that, to be in wonder of how do you bring both? How do you get to be all of yourself? How do you not leave the part that looks at the planets and works with the sky and that works with the earth? How do you not leave that while you do the work that you're being called to do every day? Because in essence, you're leaving a piece of you to do work that's you work that's made for you, but you're not bringing all of you. So people are kind of being harmed, whether it's you see it or not. Harm is being caused because they're not being able to fulfill and or be fulfilled by who you naturally are, because you're holding pieces of yourself away. Society said you can't be all of yourself in order to be successful. So having this space is being able to connect with other people who are like on the same journey. How do I get to like being my authentic self, consensually and from a place that doesn't cause harm, and be able to incorporate what I do that works with the planets, and that be a part of how I do business. Whether that's my personal business, my professional business, my spiritual business, whatever business you're doing, you're being able to come at it from a full sense of self. So our Mighty Networks is a space for people to come from their full sense of self and to find resources and materials that aid you in getting back to your full sense of self and connecting with full sense of self and checking in with full sense of self. Because our goal, my goal as Fatima, is to make sure that people are connected with who they are, always and forever, and are unapologetically being who you are, always and forever. That is my goal. and having space to practice being that, because it takes practice. You're not just going to be you. It's not, all of a sudden just because someone says you can, especially if you're accustomed to having to hide yourself or dim your light or make yourself smaller. It's not easy to then all of a sudden embrace your full being because someone tells you that you can. But I'm saying that it's worth it and it's pleasurable and it can be easy because you deserve it. You deserve to be you, and we deserve to know you, and we deserve to be able to experience the gift of you. But you deserve that first. And so this is the space to be able to acknowledge and play with these versions of you, and to connect with other people who are also bringing all of their versions to the table as one person, because we all deserve a space where we can just be us. So the Mighty Networks, the loving healing work space is the space for just be us, without the labels and without the constructs, knowing that they exist and honoring them, but knowing that they're not what guides us. They're not what makes us great. They're not what connects you to me. It isn't the label of boss. It isn't the label of mother or daughter or sister or friend or child. It is the fact that I'm Fatima, and I'm the being that hasn't worn shoes for 7 years. And that went, from August 2020 to February 2021, living out of 3 suitcases and traveling the world. Like, that's me. And that's the space that I come into this as, that person with that wisdom and that knowledge. And so this is that space for us to for all of us to be that, again, consensually and not harmfully. So thank you for listening. Do you have anything you want to say, or comments or questions before I say we do something else? Beautiful. Okay, so I always want to, whatever experience we do in Mighty Networks, I always want to guide, teach, provide a tool that is helping me or has helped me on my loving healing work journey, because again, it's a journey. And so today is solar plexus day, and I've been into mudras lately. Mudras are hand gestures that provide energy through the body, through certain organs and body parts, as well as they help with stress and regulating the nervous system and other beautiful things. But each mudra that I provide is correlated to a chakra. And so I have been chanting lately, and I used to chant a lot, and chanting has come back. So I've added mudras to the chanting, which has been pretty cool. But today I'm not gonna chant. I'm just gonna invite us to show us the mudra. So today, the mudra is commitment, right? Because to will something into existence, we must be willing to commit to it, right? We can't just think it's gonna happen. To have the will is to commit to the thing that you're willing into existence, so that it can be. And so commitment, the mudra, is your left hand, your left palm down, and your right thumb, your right fist with thumb up in the middle of your palm. And you're going to bring this in front of your solar plexus, which is in between your chest bone and your belly button. And you're just, as this mudra of commitment, we're breathing, inhaling and exhaling, and knowing that we can be committed to whatever we choose. And we have the will to be and to do whatever it is we choose. Whatever it is that we decide to commit to, we can will it into existence. Inhaling and exhaling, allowing ourselves to see this beautiful color of yellow, color of our solar plexus, allowing us to just be in this brightness, in this will, in our own willpower. Knowing that if we are willing to commit to ourselves and to the journey of loving and healing ourselves, we can be one with ourselves in a way that allows us to transcend harming ourselves, others, and the planet. We can choose to commit to ourselves, to engage in ourselves from a place that does not cause harm. We can commit to this if we choose. I invite us to inhale and exhale, knowing that we can choose what we commit to and what we place our will towards. What are we willing this new moon? What are you committing to so that we can have the thing that we are willing into existence? Inhaling and exhaling. Allow yourself to see whatever it is that you're willing into existence. See yourself in it. Can you imagine what you're wearing? Where are you? What are you smelling? Whatever you're willing into existence, place yourself there. And allow yourself to see yourself committing to the process, committing to yourself, so that whatever you're willing into existence, whatever you just saw, can come into fruition because you've committed to seeing it come true. Has to take a couple more breaths. And to come back into this space. And knowing that we can come back to this, to our commitment to ourselves and to the breath. How does that feel? Yeah, beautiful. So each experience after the new moon, during the new moon, we'll have a mudra, and we'll talk about the mudra, and we'll do the mudra, and we'll envision and see ourselves in the energy, whatever is being called forth with us. And what will happen is we'll put out what we covered, like what's coming up in the planets and the energy this month, and share it with you. And so the goal is that everyone has time to reflect and connect and practice the practices outside of our general connections and my networks. And so I hope that this clears up what this space is, what we're hoping to bring to this space and out of this space. And also knowing that we're doing trainings and consultings, and we lead retreats this space is that space for all of those people who are in those experiences to be able to come and experience each other as they experience our work. You all are amazing. Thank you for coming and joining today. Please drink water and take care of yourself. Know that your existence on this planet has allowed this planet to be so much more expansive and healing and loving because you are here and you are in it doing this work. So thank you for doing this work. I know that you matter, that you're loved, that we are grateful for you. And we hope that you continue to join us as we take this journey, this love and healing work journey together.